I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Come in.
I was down at the tribal courts. She said that they wanted a letter from you guys with the recommendations.
You what now?
A letter from you guys with recommendations of the supervised visits, and they're going to change the court order.
You're going to change the court order?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to find that file and get that. So.
Okay. Then I was thinking about what you said yesterday about the drug use and stuff. Then I thought about after a while, after you get to pondering stuff. And I thought, well, for one, she has a dirty UA with the tribal courts. That's on file.
Let me ask you this, Laverne. Why? It seems like you're obsessed with this. Could you tell me why?
The drug use?
No, that you're obsessed with this relationship.
The protecting the kids?
Well, I know, but what else is the underlying factor? Because some of the things you have written up, if I was her, I would file slander charges on you, libel charges. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying actually just to be protective of you.
Yeah.
If you're not there to take care of your kids, who's going to? But you need to take a step back and look and see what's happening here.
I think in the beginning, I would just let things play out on their own. And it was very obvious, and everybody was just overlooking it. And I'm like, okay, now I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to point the obvious out to you guys, because apparently you missed it the first time. The drug pen, the scabies.
Maybe they didn't miss it. Maybe they don't have proof. Again, let's go back to proof.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you got the doctor saying those are scabies...
That's not a child abuse and neglect issue. Everybody gets scabies. Everybody gets scabies. If you treat that, then you go on.
I never got scabies until I got them from my kids.
Everybody gets scabies. If you're going to school, you're going to get head lice. You're going to get scabies and all that stuff.
Did you know in the off the reservation schools, after a couple of reports of head lice, you get charged with child abuse, child neglect?
Well, that could be child neglect, but that's not child abuse.
Yeah, and if you cut the hair of a child that had long hair, it's considered child abuse. So it's not a remedy to, I'm going to chop their head off and make my daughter look like Sinead O'Connor. But
you have to expect it. If you got kids that go to school with other kids, they're going to get that stuff, even if they get it from outside the school. Those are normal childhood experiences.
I think. Well, when you talk about obsession,
what you're looking for, if you're looking for something on your ex,
not really looking for something on my ex.
Let's finish. If you're looking for something on your ex, when they come back with bruises on their faces, bruises where they've been hit, done something very terrible, then you can report that.
I did report the bruises to Jesse Hunt.
Okay.
And there was pictures, and then I took him right to the ER that same day. And then Jesse talked to my daughter, and she said my mom hits us really hard because we don't go to sleep. Now, is that something that should be disciplined in such a manner?
Okay, where did that occur? Was it here on the res?
I don't even know.
I see. That's what I'm saying.
You
need to find out where it is.
Well, she does live in Devil's Lake.
So they have jurisdiction. If you have to, you call their social workers at the county and let them investigate that.
And I
live on the res.
Yeah, and I did. I went to Ramsey County because that's Ramsey County. And they asked, well, who has the kids full time? And I said, I do. Well, where do you live? The reservation. It's not our jurisdiction.
Well, it's not our jurisdiction if they do it up there.
And that's what I told them. I was like,
you're the police officer. And you should know the legal hours.
And I do, but it's just, I was like, that's like saying a crime has been committed off the reservation, and I could come into Devil's Lake and go wander around and find this guy and arrest him and charge him out. So I don't have jurisdiction. I said, neither does the BIA have jurisdiction coming into Devil's Lake trying to do a home visit. And they kept pushing it back to you guys, and it's like they didn't want to do anything.
Well, they're you have to report that to their people. If you're very persistent here, you need to be persistent with those people too. Okay. Because if it happens in that county, that's their jurisdiction, regardless of whether they live on the reservation or not. Okay. If they got shot and murdered or something like that, a resident from the county, from the res, who has jurisdiction? Not the res.
Yeah. And that's the same thing that I was trying to tell them, but they kept, and I don't think they wanted to touch the matter. They just kept using this place as a pawn.
Well, we're tired of being pawns.
Yeah. And I kept saying the house, from where social services offices, said the house is like a block and a half down the street. We could walk down there right now if you want to. Oh no, but that's out of our jurisdiction. How I couldn't, for a while there, I was like, am I missing something here? Am I not comprehending? Are these guys just trying to,
no, it's their jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Who's told you this?
There was a young man. Was his name Chris? And then there was
someone in the.
I also got it in writing.
Was it also from the prosecutor's office or something?
No, it wasn't the prosecutor's office. It was an Allery lady. It's not Teresa. I got it in writing. I was like.
I would suggest that you continue to go ahead and tell them, if their incident happened over there. But then again, you don't have proof either.
Yeah.
And they don't have proof that it happened on the res.
Yeah.
You see my point?
And my daughter's only going to be 6, so I mean, I'm sure she would know where it happened at, but nobody really talks to her. Like the drug pen, when I brought her back and took her to the police department, let the officer talk to my daughter, and she goes, "I got that from my mom's room." It's not something that I don't know where she got it from. All I know is when I.
It's really hard to depend on the testimony. Yeah, again, as a police officer, you need to be thinking these things. You're not going to depend on a 6-year-old or a 5-year-old or 7-year-old when someone's life or.
Yeah, but we're also trained to realize that kids ain't good at lying.
Yes, they're not good at lying. That's right.
Yeah.
Then it becomes, you have to really understand when the testimony is truth or not.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times they're easy to be coached too.
Yeah. And
easy to be coached.
I had that happen to me with my daughter, where she went to school right after we had a big meal for Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm the only one here, so.
Oh, okay.
So what do you just need a letter or something like that?
Well, yeah, that she's recommended to do supervised visitation. That was one of the recommendations. I don't know what else was recommended in the file.
How'd you find that out?
Through Fernanda.
Okay. Hang on a second. I should have taken that phone, but I'm the only one here, so I'm going to be answering the phone and taking care of this stuff here. I'll try to get that. What time is it?
It's 2, but
well, if we don't get it here, we'll get that Monday when we're fully staffed.
Okay.
Just come back in. And,
everybody's gone for training for the week.
They're all gone for the week.
Really?
There's only 2 of us here. I've been here answering the phones, and they ring and ring and ring and ring. Oh man.
But yeah, that's no. I think when you talked about obsession, I think from being a police officer and see all that's going on with the children on the reservation, it's kind of like you become really caught up with your own kids and saying, I wouldn't want my kids to go to.
That's true too, but as a social worker and stuff like that, I've seen this in other places where there was a ulterior purpose, and I'm not saying that's happening with you, but I'm saying is take a back step and look and see what is your hope. Purpose for doing this.
Yeah, I just don't want to see my kids become a statistic, or I don't want them to see hurt. And if I could do something to prevent it, and knowingly,
things that happen under your watch too. So you need to understand that too. There's a lot of behaviors that your kids have been exhibiting that's happened under your watch. I don't see her coming in and bringing those accusations.
I don't think there was.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I don't know if there was like I tried to be the best I can be, because I'm actually.
That's all you can be.
And that's I'm actually the both parents, so a majority of the time, and I was raised differently than what I'm raising my kids. Back in those days, I don't think.
Let's go back to what you told us before about you being a pipe handler.
Yeah.
Those things you should fall back on that and see that it help you guide you in your decision making before you do anything. If you feel confident, I can't tell you what to do or what not to do. I'm just giving you some suggestions. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's
sooner or later, because this thing has been going on a long time.
Yeah.
And it looks like, like
I'm actually exhausted. I've actually got anxiety issues from the whole. It's like you could show everything.
Have you got anxiety enough where you're unfit for duty to do your police work?
No.
See, these are things you need to look at too. How does it affect you? Because if the officer finds out that, hey, this guy's under, and you go out and do something wrong, and they didn't recognize that, and say you had to shoot someone, and there's a fatal shooting, and they get that and find out all the stuff like that, you need to protect you in the department.
Yeah, and see, I realize this has not. I've been doing this going on 17 years. It's this.
I'm from Oklahoma. This is how we think. We with the police there, I don't know how there's people here yet, but I'm becoming acquainted with them, and there's some good people here, a lot of good people, and the other people that are involved in the drugs, stuff like that. That happens in every community. We just have to deal and try to work through those things.
Yeah.
But in this case, there's been some shootings in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Where the officer was known to be in a situation like that. And it just doesn't look good for the person.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to happen to you, but you got to be concerned about how you come, and because you're in a responsible position.
Yeah. And I've been in a responsible position for quite many years. I mean, I raised my two oldest. My oldest is going to be 18 in April. My second oldest is 11. Then I got the two younger ones. And I've always said this. I said, what goes on at drug houses, and if that's what she's exposing these kids to.
But you don't know that. See, you don't drive yourself crazy.
But see, that's law enforcement thinking. You got to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
For the worst, you just think, what if this is happening, all this stuff like that. But they don't become obsessed in that thinking, because as you stated earlier, it'll drive you crazy. You've got to think like a criminal to defeat a criminal, to arrest, solve crime. So, but what you're saying, and again, if you just sit back and lay it in their hands and say, well, if this is going on, you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
And see, in the beginning, I didn't. I was like, all right, well, she gets the kids. Knowing she does whatever she does, whatever. I figured she'd protect the kids. But when they come back with different things, the bruises, the drug pen, and I'm like, okay, where are these kids at? Are they in a house that's got needles laying all over? If she had access to that pen, I'm sure there's other utensils laying around that.
But you don't know that.
But you could guesstimate it.
Well, no, unless they're really careless in that, and and then if that's the case, that is their jurisdiction over there. You need to deal with that over there and tell them about it.
Yeah. And I did bring all that up, and then they typed me a 2-page letter, and they're like, "This is a custody issue. No, it's a protection issue."
Take that down to the DA and see what they say about it. Say, is this the case? If this happens in Benson County or wherever that county is, who has jurisdiction? Because that's saying, and if they go out and a person go out and kills somebody from the res, goes up there and shoots somebody, does it come back here? No, it won't come back here. It's going to be there. I mean, a crime is a crime. So anything you have in Devil's Lake occur, you deal with them up there.
Yeah.
We can't go over there and investigate.
Yeah. And that's what I tried to tell them in the very beginning. I was like, no. And they kept insisting that I didn't know what I was talking about, although I knew I did. And I was just like, am I missing something here? Because law enforcement, social services, maybe there's a different realm of rules that they go by that we don't know about. So I came back over here and talked to Doreen, and I was right on, and she was, that's their jurisdiction. They can't keep doing this to us. Why they didn't want to take part of it?
So that's what I'm saying, and because that's that's stuff that goes on over there, and if they come back and you see that, then you need to go over there. Don't bring it to us.
And see, like with the dirty UA and stuff. I mean, like I said, you compile. It's almost like a DA's office. You had all these different incidents happen. Okay, we're gonna go into the courtroom, and we're gonna talk about each one of these incidents. And let's see, let her have a chance to explain why these things are the way they are. And
people have come and said, when they talk with you, you can talk on and on and on and on and on about this issue. That's what I'm saying. You have become obsessed with this, Laverne. You need to back up a little bit and see, because you can just yap, find this, come back and something you'd already told and bring that back up again, start on the same subject. It shows me that you have become very obsessed with this whole thing, and I'm not sure whether it's because of you being jilted, or is it your kids, or whatever, but there's something going on. But our role here, and it always will be, is to protect your kids, and that's what we will do within the legal framework of the system.
Okay.
But anything that happens outside this place, you need to visit with them and file your 960s over there if you want to do a 960.
Okay.
And we will probably get a report on that, or you can tell us about that. But be careful. Well, I'm saying, because ever since I've gotten to this here back in July and come back and seen it, I've seen you go from here to here to here to here and just yap. I mean, when I say yap, communicate what you think is the problem. So, pretty soon nobody's going to listen to you. Do you see what I'm saying? You need to back up and take a look and take a different approach. If you're concerned about your kids, and I think that you are, then you're going to do everything you can to protect them. And you're also going to do it within the legal system. If the court says let her see them, you will let her see them until it's changed, and then we will try to get that, But take a look at this, because I think, like I said, I've seen you, I've watched you, I've heard you, and I've seen that. I wonder how many other people have seen that. Do you see what I'm saying? How many people do you think you've involved in this whole issue here? You think they're fed up with it now? Not the issue, but they're fed up with the way that you present it? Do you think they are now?
I don't know. I think I've kind of like we hammer the issue till it gets resolved, and I feel like but you're going to keep on hammering it, and you need to be careful that you don't get yourself in a situation. That's the whole thing. I'm saying this, not to defend her, because or be your ally. I'm trying to be objective about this. To take a step back and look. I think the obsession comes with the dead kids on this reservation, and seeing that, and talking to the council, and said, they fought for those kids. They told social services, they told the courts what was going on, but nobody would listen. And that's almost like me. It's like, I tell everybody what's going on, but
and you've told us what we have listened and listened, but we have listened to the same old thing and the same old thing here, and we're trying to address that, which we have. But some of the things that we're listening to, you need to take them over into the county and file your 960 with those people over there. And
I've always said this from, and maybe when you talk about obsession, I think I've said this. I said, I'm not only going to fight for the rights of my kids, but what about all those that don't have the resources to come up here, or don't have a phone, or don't, they don't have the resources to make that complaint.
But they have people that do it for them. We have 960s on some of the same issues on different families, Laverne. There's other people that are going to go in and raise up a flag and say, I'm standing up for this child here. We have it. It's happening every day. We get them every day,
And it's scary to see what's going on with the kids.
But there's a lot of poverty here. How do you deal with the poverty? If you want, you need to try to get some resources in if you want to help some of the kids. There's a lot of kids don't have clothes. So those are things that some of the kids need help. But we do. We try to help the kids, and we're going to try to help. And we will help the kids here. We're going to help your kids. As long as they're in our system here, we're going to do what we can. Because that's our responsibility to you. But our responsibility is not to you, it's our responsibility, and like yours, to make sure that those kids are safe and protected.
And that's the whole thing of it. Because I wouldn't want to just let things go, and then something serious happened to the kids, and say, I could have did something about that.
Well, you can't. You can't do anything about that. You cannot protect them 24 hours a day. That's something you have to understand. We as parents just hope and pray that we have done the right thing for them, and that whoever we entrust them with our care, that they're going to go ahead and apply the same energy to make sure that they're safe as we would if they were with us. Because, again, you're creating your own anxiety when you worry and worry and worry, and you need to be careful too, because if the police department gets hold of that you have some anxiety issues.
Yeah.
That's a thing that that they can set you down or put you behind the desk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't want to put their department in jeopardy either. So.
Yeah.
So you're in a position here. I mean, and because that's why I tell you, I'm offering you some advice just to step back and take a look and see, try your different strategies where it's less stress on you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because it's not going to change the way it is anyway. You can't change her if she's doing it.
Yeah.
But but if she doesn't in the presence of those kids, and they do, you can always tell them to get out and go to the police. There's things that you can do to protect your kids if they're over there.
Yeah.
They're not locked in their room every day, are they?
I don't know what goes on.
We don't know either.
Yeah.
See, that's the assumption I made. That's the same thing as you. You make assumptions, and you don't really know.
Yeah.
But you can tell them, if you get in a situation like this, you see that, get out of there and go to the police.
But at their ages, aren't they a little too young to be at 5 and 3?
If they know how to get away from there, they learned that.
Or they learn just to deal with it.
Well, from what you tell me, are they too young? But you say you're offering what they tell you as fact.
Yeah, 5 and 3. Well, I wouldn't think my daughter would have a reason to just fictitiously make something up.
I'm not saying that, but you seem to accept it as fact.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So if they see that and they take off running, then you go to the Benson County Child Welfare and do your 960, and let them go ahead and interview your daughter and say. I mean, I'm saying if this does happen like that, But in this case, I don't know too. It's really hard because kids are kids. They'll learn good things, and they'll watch you. They'll watch parents that emulate parental behavior.
Yeah.
And then as parents, we hope we raise our kids good, but we're not responsible when they reach a certain age. So check. Are you on any kind of medication for anxiety?
I seen the doctor today, and they said they weren't going to because it wasn't as bad as some people.
Whatever you do, I'm just going to suggest this. I can't tell you what to do. If you ever find yourself doing that, you better let your supervisor know.
Yeah.
As a police officer, because you don't want to put anybody, the department in jeopardy. If something does happen, and then and you're responsible, and they said, well, was the officer fit for duty, and a lawsuit incurs? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to go and tell anybody, because what you talk to me is confidential.
Yeah.
But if in that case, what you're describing, I'm just telling you, you need to protect you.
Yeah, that's long. Yeah, this has gone on too long.
It has gone on too long.
I think I'm exhausted, and I think that my obsession towards the end here is trying to just get it done and over with. It's like, look.
Hey, it's not going to be done and over with. Your kids are young.
Yeah.
No, you're going to deal with this until they become 18 and can make their own decisions.
Oh, yeah. I understand that, but
what you need to understand.
I wish the courts would say, okay, this is the way it is. unless there's such a drastic circumstantial change in something, then we would rehear it.
What about are they going to bring you up about your sexual exhibition of your young kids too? That you're going to be able to defend that in court when they bring that up too?
Mine?
I'm going to say a judge, a competent court, they will have to hear everything, and they will, and if they know about that, you think that they're going to sit idle and they're going to bring everything up against you that has happened since the last day too.
Yeah. No, if I had a woman, I'd be like, yeah, I'm sexually active, but this woman has pretty much turned me off to every woman that there is on this reservation, or there's like flags that I seen. I was like, oh, okay. Now I took a step back and be like, okay, I could see where they're coming from. They want somebody to take care of them. I went down that road twice. I ended up taking care of 4 kids by myself. I'm good. When they start messing with my job, I'm 6 years to retirement. I don't need somebody like that.
How come you just don't leave this place?
I've asked the chief, transfer me out. And he was like, move to Devil's Lake. And I'm like, you're crazy, because that same woman that's doing all this lives in the same...
Have you applied for other things?
I haven't applied yet. I'm going to start, though. Cause
it may be worth your while while you have custody.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
And I've even told the judge I'm more than happy if I'm living in Nebraska and she's living up here and she gets to visit the kids, like let's say the summer months. I'll drive halfway from Nebraska to North Dakota. She could drive the rest of the way.
What's going to happen? Are you still going to have that fear?
No.
No. What I'm saying is, how can you say that with absolute, how do I say this, assurance, but then now you can't have the absolute...
Because she has a legal right as a parent to see her kids. I can't keep her from that.
What I'm saying is, she's only here in Devil's Lake, and if they go and visit her there, but then you're worried about while they're there with her now. How can you worry? How can you not worry if you're alone?
I probably would worry, but it's like I said, she has a legal obligation that she gets that right to see her kids. I can't keep her from that, so.
So the same applies now with her too. See, until the court intervenes, and if they say that's going to be up to them.
Yeah.
Now you begin to see things that the way what I'm hoping you would stop and look and think about this situation. Don't get yourself in a position where it's going to hurt you. And again, if I was a police captain, and one of my officers was having some problems, I would make sure that they're fit for duty. Because what police officers they have to be. They have to make split decisions like that.
That's where I was trying to go. Was like, first I was going to go to Winnebago, then I was thinking New Mexico, because there's a sergeant position available down there. But it's always coming back to, are they going to allow me to let me leave with my children without her running to the courts and saying, oh, he abducted the kids and now he's crossed state line. And now
who has custody?
I have physical custody. We have joint legal custody.
Okay, joint legal custody. Before you go do that, you go to the court and say, this is what I plan to do. That's what I would say. I would clear it up before I go.
Yeah.
I can't answer that right now because I've got we're in here. But this has been a slow day, but it's been just ringing off the wall. Give me a headache today.
Yeah, so I just want what's best for the kids. I don't care about it. I don't care that she's doing what she's doing.
But if you want what's best for kids, then if I was a mother, I'd want to see my kids. Even, then if I do something in a way that's going to hurt them, let her pay the price. But you go to Ramsey County if you know what to happen over there. See.
Yeah, and that's where they live. I mean,
like we said yesterday, if there's guns over there, I'm sure that they're going to put those and lock them away. And then I was always just counsel my kids and say, hey, if If something happens to you, that they are threatening, just leave. They're old enough. They can go to the next door, someplace there, and and knock on the door.
Yeah, and people would say, "We'll just have a welfare check done on them." And I'm like, yeah, but that would look like I'm harassing her. I'm pretty sure.
That's the exact point I'm trying to make. You don't want to make the point that you're harassing.
Yeah.
But you're so obsessed with this thing without it, it's beginning to look like that they could probably say, well, man, he's just harassing because he's upset that she left him. You know what I'm saying?
She has said that many times.
You want people to think that.
Yeah.
Say, well, hey, Laverne's just really doing this because, man, he got jilted. You don't want, I don't think that's the reason you're doing this. But something can you convince other people otherwise? You think some people already think that?
Oh, I'm pretty sure her family thinks that.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure there's, some people would have to think
including her, and it's not. And I told her, I'm not doing this to be an ass. Mm-hmm. I'm doing this just to protect the kids. Mm-hmm. Maybe you're doing what you're doing now. I'm not keeping the kids from go have fun. But when you straighten yourself out, these kids, you're still going to be the mother to these kids. They're still going to be here. Don't take them and decide to go partying or whatever it might be with them and total disregard for their safety just because you feel that you have to.
Wherever that happens, if it's off the res, you're going to have again. You're going to have someone step up and say, "Look, I was there. I saw that. I'm willing to write my name down to it." But you're going to have to be dealing with until they're 18.
Yeah, I know.
Until they can make their own decisions. So, man, you need to loosen up, and you need to really try to get yourself together again, where where you are fit to be a police officer, fit for duty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And here's the other thing, and I ran this by a friend, and they're like, "Don't do that." Mm-hmm. Well, I'm like, because I got tired of the cleanup of the scabies. That is an extensive. Cleanup. You have to quarantine toys. You have to.
Oh, I know. I've had scabies. I've been exposed to. I know what you have to do.
Yeah.
Back stuff up. Yeah.
All the extensive
again,
cleaning.
I'm saying it's going to happen. And it's going to happen again. And I'm not the dirtiest person, and I'm not the cleanest person. But I don't have scabies in my house.
Yeah.
They came in there from the school.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's different things. The head lice, and my ex used to say...
The propensity of that happening is greater here because of a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
You see that wherever your kids go to school.
Do
they go on?
No, they go to school in Devil's Lake.
Okay.
And that's why I say it's a lot more serious than it is on a reservation school than it is off. Mm-hmm. Because, they're like, no, you're not...
Well, see, but that's different. They don't live in Devil's Lake, do they? They live here.
They live here.
Because they're their jurisdiction here. But if they go there, in that situation, it would again come back, I would think, to the rest. But that's a different issue,
Yeah, and it seems like,
you're transferring your kids into that school system.
Yeah. Oh, they've been in the school system since 2005.
Okay.
My oldest went to school there. My 10-year-old's now in middle school. Mm-hmm. My daughter's now in kindergarten. My son's in Head Start in Devil's Lake. Mm-hmm. And what it looks like is like, and my ex has done this before when we were on talking terms. She was like, must have got him from you. Do I look like I could carry headlight? I think they would just slide right off, or the wind would take... I'm like, really? And then all my boys have really short hair.
Just because you don't have any hair doesn't mean headlights can get on your caps, on clothes.
And nobody wears caps in my house.
It just doesn't come from the head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And every weekend she had them. She brought them back loaded. And it's hard because every weekend you get them back. Monday they got school. By Tuesday they're calling you, come get your kids, clean them up. Don't bring them back here until they're clean. You clean them up. Friday comes. Back to square one. Monday comes. Come get your kids. You probably didn't clean them very... How many... There's 8 months in the school year. And 32 was 8 times 4. 32 weeks of school. You can't go through that 32 times a year because one parent says, I don't... What rules do I have to follow? That's your responsibility. You got physical custody of them. That's... and I just got tired of it, and it's like, no, if you're not going to help out in some way, shape, or form, you're basically, we get on a set schedule, and here comes the monkey wrench. And it's like, oh, okay, well. And I didn't have a problem with it, letting the kids see or whatever.
See what you're doing? You're going back and repeating the same thing I've heard before. This is what I'm telling you. You become obsessed and you can yak, yak, and yak, because when it filters up and comes to your conscious, you would communicate it, you express that, you know, and you got to be careful of her. People are going to get upset. They're going to turn you off. They're going to be tired of listening to this. When you talk to them, bring something new, bring something that they haven't heard, bring something that's going to cause a change in the relationship. Bring some facts, but don't sit there and just yak, because you're going to turn people off. Now, I'm saying that for your own good. You understand that.
But, you know, and then you bring something new, and they'll be like, well, is this the first instance? And, well, it's happened several times before.
Well, if it's facts, it's the first time.
Yeah.
If it's just something that's been noted before and there's nothing, it's just hearsay or secondhand, yeah, that's inconsequential, you know.
Yeah.
But something that's here that has an impact, you know. Again, you got to think like a police officer, and you know what's going to be admissible, what's not. You know, hearsay is certainly not anything.
And I just, it's taken a toll on me for the last 2 years. Like I said, there's times I was like, you know what? One of the things I asked the chief, they bring them back with scabies, they bring them back with head lice. Maybe then you guys could come get them, and you guys could do the cleanup, and you get to see exactly what I go through. It's not fun because you got other kids.
If we do that, we'd have to do that with a lot of families here.
Yeah.
A lot of families, you know, you understand, you're not the only one that has those problems. You're not the only one that has the head lice, the scabies, you know.
And I understand those things to be caught, but the bruises, showing up at the police department with your daughter with the paraphernalia. Were you high or something that you couldn't say, you know, if his dad sees that, it's gonna get me in trouble, I better. And here comes my little girl chewing, and I got upset, and I pulled the chief in the office, and they're like, well, we. What upset me the most is a police officer made the statement. We know what she does, we know what she's into, but don't be calling the police on her. Oh, okay, well, let's just wait till my
Oh, was this officer here?
Yeah, it was here.
Was she living here?
She lives here.
She lived here at the time?
Well, I don't know if she lived here at the time, but they knew what she was into. They had different people reporting her that I didn't know about. But, oh, okay, well, let's not do something. And now she brings my daughter with a drug pen. Had that been meth or some other substance that went to her heart and then she dropped dead, and then what's going to happen?
Can you prove it?
It's in the lab. It's actually in the lab right now in Bismarck.
Can you prove that was from her?
My daughter said it when I grabbed it. It was her mom's pen. She got mad at me and said, "Give me back my pen. That belongs to my mom."
Mm-hmm. But can you prove that it does belong to her?
I don't think my daughter calls anybody else mom.
No. But can you prove it? Can you prove that was hers? If you ever introduce that in the court, can you prove that belonged to her?
I don't know if I could prove it without taking a picture.
What do you mean without taking a picture?
People own things, and unless you see it in their possession.
Oh, okay. So my point is, you can't prove it.
But
you can't prove that.
Where did she get the pen from?
That's a good point. Where did she get the pen from?
And that would be something on her burden to answer. Where did she get the pen from? She was in your care.
Mm-hmm.
Where did she get that pen from? Alongside the road. It was dead of winter. Your kid was outside walking along.
Could I, if I'd been a user, go by and if she did get in her household, could I have sit that there and left it there and she picked that up? What I'm saying is.
But then there again, you're putting them in a drug environment.
But that again, but back again, you can't. You know, how many people come visit you and be drug people and you don't know anything about that? You know.
Well, they might be.
My point is, you don't act on anything unless you have reason to act on it. And what you're doing again, it goes back to your obsession.
But you see what I'm saying.
To me, that again, I would just put that there and not bring it up. I'll just file it away and say this is another issue here. Then if you,
how many issues do you need before?
But again, you can't prove all these issues here, Laverne, is what I'm saying.
And it's not. Well, it's okay if we're talking criminal wise. I walk into a house. Let's say it was your house. Full beer cans all over the place. You're the owner of that home. You get charged with liquor violation. Who's now then to prove that doesn't belong to you?
Well, that's the whole point. Is that the law here on the res?
That's the law here on the res.
This is a dry res?
It's a dry res.
And if you have beer cans in there and any place on your property, you can be
as long as it's alcohol and it's full. You could, if you had just empty beer cans, hell, somebody could have came by and just threw a beer can in a ditch. I'm talking inside of your house.
Inside your house, okay. So you would find that, but that person would have a chance in court of law to prove
that didn't belong to him.
That they belong to him, right?
And that would be now placed on her to prove
but who's
beyond a reasonable doubt
who's going to bring her to court to do that?
The court system should. I mean, I know this is a civil. Well, actually, she'll have to be charged with something criminal.
Exactly.
And because, like the police officer said, we know what she does, we know what she's into.
But does they really know
nobody,
what she's doing, or do they have just hearing it? Have they seen what she's doing?
I don't know. I didn't even ask.
That's the point.
You know, all I heard was the officer say, "We know what she's into, and we know what she does." You know.
Well, I hate to rush off, but I've got to find an emergency placement for a boy.
Okay.
So I'm called here, but I just want you to know, for your own sake, to just again deal with facts, and don't be, you seem so obsessed with this. You need to step back, take a look. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to be harmed by this. If your anxiety level is such that it's going to create a conflict with you on duty, you need to let your supervisor know.
And I'm aware of all that. I mean, like the on duty, if I'm dealing with that family and there's somebody else on duty with me, I'll be like, to me that's like a conflict of interest. If it doesn't go their way and I'm dealing with the case, they're going to be.
I'm talking about your anxiety. If you're not sleeping, if you're not, you said you're exhausted, all that stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this stuff, it's not going to affect. It's going to affect you regardless of who you engage out there in your performance of your official duties. Is what I'm saying. If it's such in a severe case, and you do something that's going to be harmful, because of your condition, he and the department will be liable.
Yeah.
Could be if someone wants to litigate that.
That would be.
So if that gets to that point, you need to let him know.
Oh yeah. Well, what I'm going to do again is start.
I would just try to transfer out of here if I was you.
I wish it was. It's easier said than done. Because at the first part of this, I asked for a transfer, and they're like, "You can't do a transfer in the BIA anymore." Okay, then what do I do? I even emailed.
Transfer. You see other jobs, don't you?
Yeah.
Apply for them.
And that's what I'm going to. Yeah. And see, that was another question I had. I had to actually ask the district commander. I said, "Okay, I'm at an 8. But it says this position only goes 4, 5, 6. It's the same position that I'm currently holding now." But he goes, "No, those are just for new hires. You will take your 8 and you will still fulfill that position." And I've never heard this before, but people have applied for positions that are overly qualified. Something I never heard before, but it's out there.
Well, that's a comment that everybody makes. Well, if you have any questions, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'll tell you, if you have questions about any of those positions, you don't talk to me, talk to anybody, you talk to personnel, the people that were the advertising. You call them and ask them about your questions on that.
Yeah.
They'll tell you what.
So I went straight to the district commander, and I was like, "What does this mean?"
You went to the wrong place. If you see a job that's open, who can better answer it except the one who's the recruiting specialist? That's who you speak to.
So that's
anyway,
what
I hate to rush you out like that, but I've got to get something down here.
All right.
Okay.
But
good, man.
yep. But Monday, you would have that letter done?
Well, if we can do something before then, we'll try to get that thing done. I can't promise that.
Yeah.
But when the full staff is here, we'll look at it and see. she'll get a chance. She may get a chance to go ahead and have the hearing before it's actually done.
Okay.
You know, I don't know what the court's going to do. We can only petition court for that. If that's, you know, whoever get back here, they'll talk. Okay.
Okay.